What is the difference between a sorcerer versus a recruiter? Check out this video right now to set the record straight. Hey, welcome to the Millionaire Recruiter. I'm Brianna Rooney, your Millionaire Recruiter. If you haven't seen this channel before, it's all about making you the next Millionaire Recruiter, and make sure you do some good work. So let's get to it. So lately there's been a lot of talk about what truly is the difference between a sorcerer and a recruiter. This name is intertwined all the time in agency life, which is, Techies, my company, and all pretty much outside sources that do recruitment, okay? And then even internally through other companies, they intertwine this title, but there really is a true difference. So I kind of want to set that straight. And technically it goes sorcerer then recruiter, but people can just be really good sorcerers and enjoy it and still do full cycle recruiting. So I wanted to set that straight. And definitely, if you do want some more content on recruiting and everything in the recruiting industry, definitely subscribe to this channel right down below, because I put out a new video every single Thursday. You never know what you're gonna get. You never know what subjects we're gonna talk about and all it, what inspires me in the day. So, all right, here we go. So first of all, if you're a recruiter, you're probably a really good sorcerer. Hopefully, but I've seen things intertwine. Internally through a company, I have seen actually 4 different levels of sorcerers, and I've had people just not take them to offer, and then you have the recruiter that handles a little bit of sourcing when they need. And so anyways, here's the record. A sorcerer is exactly what it sounds like. They're the ones that are actually sourcing and finding the candidates to fill a particular role. Now there's a lot of different things that go to this, and whether or not internally they make these roles into little itty bitty roles in order to get to the big one, or if you're just, in contingency, which is what my specialty is, then hopefully, sourcing comes with a lot of different factors, and hopefully you can take it all the way to the recruiter style. So let's just say you have a job and you need to fill, a software engineering role, because that's my background, right? And they need to have you, well, first of all, you want to look at the client and what the team's like, talk to the hiring manager, get a lot of specifics, because they'll be like, oh, here's a job description, go off of that. Job descriptions, again, I talk about this a lot, are wish lists. Either it's too thorough, it's not thorough enough, they're kind of confusing. So you really want to get down to the nitty gritties. And they're also, you can do like sourcing. A sourcing map. And a sourcing map looks like, you're looking at the team, you're looking to see what schools they come from. You're looking for really common denominators and adding together what they're looking for when they're trying to go. So you can really nail out a search. And there's different ways you can do those Booleans. And so a sorcerer is really good at doing Boolean searches or going through LinkedIn and looking at different places to find people. So they map out what they're looking for, and then they execute it, and then they send out messages and hook a candidate. Sometimes that's where it stays. And so a sorcerer will then say, okay, great. I'm actually going to get you on the phone with my recruiter or with my colleague, and they're going to take you through the whole process. So depending on the company, depends on how much work the sorcerer does. So lots of times, again, they're just finding that candidate. The recruiter comes in and handles the whole candidate experience from first touch after the sorcerer finds them, and then they're going to get them interested in the clients. They're going to make sure that they're going through at the right speed that they want, fast enough but slow enough, those kind of things, moving at their own pace. They're going to find out more about them. Basically that intake that takes them through the interviews, making sure everything's good, making sure they don't lose the candidate, making sure that the client is doing what they should do as far as interview process goes, talking to the candidate throughout. Again, that's the experience. And then going all the way to offer, and then hopefully close. That's wrapped up in a nice bow. Now, this is where it gets kind of funky. And I mean, even in my own firm, it gets kind of funky, because we've always called each other recruiters, because we've always done full cycle. And a full cycle recruiter to me is someone that can source, take someone through the candidate experience, and also work with clients. So you have your own clients, you know exactly what they need to source for, and you can do like whole kit and caboodle from start to finish. I realized that that's not normal. That what I've always done for so long and what I've also taught other people to do, really, I guess, is best case situation scenario, and that's not normal, which I think is really great to learn all facets of recruiting in order to up your game. And I think that is exactly how you get to be the millionaire recruiter, because you can do it all. So I teach people, and I myself, I can source, I can do the candidate experience, I can close, I negotiate, that's all in there, because, closing is negotiating, and it's making sure that you find a common ground between the candidate and the client, right? It's a whole other subject. And then I can very much develop relationships with clients, but on top of that, I can do business development with clients, get new clients, really feast off of the different referrals, do good work, get the recommendations, work with the client. The client experience is a whole other ball game, and that's really where you can silo these roles. So it could be sourcer, recruiter, client holder. That can all be in one, or you can just sum it up and be like, I'm a recruiter and I'm a full cycle recruiter. I do it all. And for you watching, I would love for you guys to get to that full cycle recruiter. Now, naturally, a recruiter is going to be better at one versus the other. And this is, again, where you can tell the difference between sourcing versus client holder. So I've always enjoyed the candidates a lot more. I've enjoyed the hunt, the poaching, asking clients where they want people from. That's a sourcer spirit. However, I also really enjoy the recruiter spirit. And that recruiter spirit is making sure that that candidate is really changing their own lives by going through the interview process with a great story and a great offer that lands them this career that can take them to where they want to go. That I love. That's cool, right? And then as a client holder, working with the clients and producing for them and making those crucial hires that makes their company really then take it to the next level, that's amazing too. Again, that's full cycle recruiting. So what do you want to be? You want to be a sourcer? Do you want to be a recruiter? Or do you want to do it all and be a full cycle recruiter and really go wherever you want to go? I think that is that ultimate goal, because that is where you can take it to even be more strategic. And I think that is really where you get into talent acquisition, that space. I know, it's confusing. There's a lot to go. And that's the cool part about it being confusing, is the recruiting industry is such a beast. It's such a market right now, especially 2021, where things were crazy last year. People were laid off. It was nuts. It was sad. That stuff is still unfortunately going on, but the recruiting world, that is what is thriving, and that is what we need, and that's how we can really, change your own life, change the world, all of those amazing things. And I'm sorry, I'm totally going off on a tangent, but it's exciting because there's just so many roles in recruiting. I just wanted to at least clear up sourcer versus recruiter. So here it is: sourcer, recruiter, full cycle recruiter. And if you want to just silo yourself, call yourself a client holder, so be it. But lots to go, lots to think about. And I think at the end of the day, you make sure you're a good sourcer, because all those other things you will learn, it will trickle in, and you want to do more and more and more. So definitely go do it. I would love to hear from you as to how you started. I have heard of people starting as just client holders or account managers, however you want to put it, and they didn't learn how to source. To me, I feel like, well, how do you even know what a good person is or a good resume? That's like a whole other beast. So I would love to hear from you from below on how you started, where you ended up, what direction you went. It's all super fun. So I hope I cleared it up for externals and internals. And let's just make sure we know what we're talking about. Because when people are hiring, you see people wanting to hire a recruiter, but they're doing a lot of sourcing. So really you want a sourcer, but then you want that sourcer to know how to close. So those are two things that, really you have to, one, figure out what you want, and you can definitely get a recruiter to do sourcing. Absolutely, that's where they came from, hopefully, right? It's just make sure you pay for it because again, they worked their way up to it. So like, subscribe, do all these cool things, especially if you want to hear about more of the recruiting industry. And I have to just, do a big shout out to the Recruiting Roundtable that I did this morning. I'm now doing them every month, and it's a webinar, and I actually did it on Zoom today because it's just so fun to just chat and see everyone's faces and hear where they all come from. They were all from different industries, including an engineer turned recruiter. That was like, I could have talked to him forever. But anyways, I definitely hope I see you all in the next Recruiting Roundtable. Come with some cool things to talk about and to collaborate on. It's amazing. So don't forget that to check this out every Thursday at noon, and that money is just a vessel that gets you to do all the amazing things you want to go do. Go live your life. See you next week.